Hello there! Thanks for joining us. I'm really glad you did, because today's lesson was suggested by one of our lovely viewers. After watching the Art Nouveau guide, Cheryl suggested that we create a floral portrait in that style, and it's a fantastic suggestion. Art Nouveau is instantaneously recognisable. The flowing lines, the decorative borders, the harmony between design and nature. And in today's lesson, we're going to show you how to create that style with acrylic paint. And at the end of it, you'll end up with an artwork that looks like it's stepped directly out of the Art Nouveau era. And incidentally, if you have any suggestions like Cheryl, please leave them in the comments below, because we'd love to hear them. So let's get into it. So let's break it down. Art Nouveau is all about those organic flowing lines and decorative borders. You'll see curves that almost frame the flowers, leaves that seem to move, and bold outlines tying everything together. That's what gives it that stained glass poster-like quality. For the central floral motif, there are plenty of flowers that suit the style. Poppies, wisteria, roses, but for this piece, I've gone with the peony. It's full, it's elegant, and it carries detail beautifully. Once the concept's locked in, I create it digitally, so we can make a transfer. You'll be able to download this outline as well. First, we'll cover the painting board with a textured gesso. That gives the pencils something to hold on to. Let it dry, add a second coat, and sand it smooth. So I've grabbed that outline that we were doing before, and to transfer it, we're just going to shade the back side with a 6B pencil. Drawing up a design like this can be very fiddly, and to get those smooth flowing lines is quite difficult, so this is really the best way to do it. If you do this as well, let me know in the comments. The transfer worked well, but I like to go back in and redefine the line work before sealing it with a layer of clear textured gesso. With that dry, I'll start the background. I've mixed a champagne cream colour and added a little bit of gloss medium to keep it translucent, so it tints the board without covering it completely. Now onto the flowers. I'm mixing titanium white, scarlet red, and just a touch of purple to create the darkest tones. I like to work from dark to light, build up the petals gradually. This same technique carries through the peony too. A bit of history while we paint. Art Nouveau really took off in the late 19th century. Artists like Alfonso Mucha made it famous with those incredible posters. What's fascinating is how it blurred the line between fine art and design. You'll see it in paintings, furniture, architecture, even jewellery. The idea was simple: bring beauty back into everyday life. And flowers with all their natural curves were a favourite subject. For the centre of the flower, I've mixed raw sienna with titanium white, and then added some stamens with cadmium yellow. The greenery is mixed with hooker's green, titanium white, and a touch of raw sienna for a nice earthy sage colour. See how that muted green works beautifully with the purple tones. If you've painted one of our projects before, share it with us. I'd love to see what you've created. Now for a classic Art Nouveau touch, gold leaf. Paint the sizing where you want the gold to stick. Let it dry until it becomes tacky, then lay on the sheets. I usually use cotton gloves, but blue nitrile gloves were all that I had on hand today, but they still do the job. I went for the whole sheets this time. Looks a bit cleaner on camera too. Then I decided to soften the peony by brushing in a touch of white around the edges to really make it pop. Here's the trust the process part. I sealed the gold leaf with a neutral matte varnish. That immediately took down the shine, but I don't mind, it ties it into the muted colour palette and keeps the leaf from oxidising. What do you think? Do you prefer the glossy shine or the matte look? With that dry, it's time for the iconic outlines. I'm using my favourite rigger brush. It holds its shape well and points back into position, which is exactly what you want for fine line work. I'm starting with a watered down hooker's green for the leaves. For outlining the gold, I use raw sienna in the same way, and for the flowers, a light grey. If you look at Mush's work, you'll notice he often outlined the subject as a whole, rather than every single petal. For the finer details, I switched to a graphite pencil instead of paint. Sometimes it's the most practical tool for delicate work. To finish, I sealed the whole piece with gloss varnish. That brings back the vibrancy of colours and restores some of that gold shine. And voila, the finished piece. Well, thanks again to Cheryl for sparking this project. It's been a real pleasure exploring Art Nouveau with you. And for everybody else, if you have some suggestions for techniques or styles you'd like me to explore, please leave it in the comments below because we'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for watching. Stay tuned because we've got some great tutorials in the pipeline, and above all else, remember to keep on creating.